What's up, you guys? James Holt back with another video. I've been asked to talk a little bit about my own system for testing products, how I test dropshipping products to see whether they are going to be profitable, sort of how long to keep going with a product before deciding that it's not worth doing, that it's a losing product. And this is a big question. It's not something I can quickly answer in a sentence or two on Twitter, so I promised to make a full video on it. Now, this topic is covered in my course, and I'm just going to show you the PowerPoint slides from that course and talk over them. It's going to be similar to the course video, but of course I might go off on some different side tangents or whatever. So if you're interested in this type of content and you like this format, definitely go to the link down in the description and take a look at my course. It is just being released today if you're watching it on the first day of this video. Otherwise, of course, the price, it will vary over time. So if you're watching this on day one as I release this on YouTube, then you're going to get in at the lowest possible price of $297. If you're watching it later, then unfortunately the price is going to be higher. You will just have to see what it's at as you watch it. Anyway, I hope this is helpful to you, even if you don't decide to buy the course. So when talking about testing products, there's two different situations where you're going to be doing this, and they each require a slightly different approach. First situation is you're in a new niche. Alternatively, you could be in a niche that you're already successfully selling products in. So you've got a store, you've sold other products in that niche, and now you're trying to find new successful products. And the two require a different approach. So let's first talk about how to test products in a new niche. For this, I highly recommend Instagram influencer shoutouts. Don't use Facebook ads if you're just getting started in a new niche. You will lose money. I recommend you start with sort of smaller pages. Generally, you'll want to pay $10 to $25 per shoutout. And for each product you do, you want to try two different pages. And so you want to test each product on two different pages, and it's not a perfect method, but it will give you some idea for whether the product sucks or whether you just tested on the wrong page. Because if you're new in a niche, then you don't know which Instagram pages are a good traffic source for you yet. So you still need to figure that out, and that's kind of the difficulty here, because you've got two variables that you need to figure out, or two big variables. First one being the traffic source, and the second one being product, which you're actually trying to test. The problem is, if you've got a great product but you test it on a crappy page, then you won't get many sales, and you'll think the product is the problem when in reality it's the page, but you don't know that. That's why I recommend you test on at least two different pages. The goal, of course, is to find your first product and traffic source combination that converts for you. Once you've done that, then A, you know that the product works, B, you know that the page works. And this is very important, because then in the future, you can just use this page that worked once, use that for your testing in the future. So then you can sort of cut down on the amount of tests you have to do, because if you've got a traffic source that you know converts, then you only need to test a product once on that page to see whether it's a good product or not. For this, I sort of keep a list. That's what I'm talking about down here. I recommend you make a list of influencers that have been profitable for you in the past, so that you can use them again for testing new products in the future. Of course, if you found one page that works and you found a product that works, you'll also want to try different pages for that same product just to make more money. So you'll then want to scale it to different pages and also to bigger pages, of course. There's a bit of a misconception that you can't scale Instagram influencer shoutouts. There is a limit to it. It becomes a lot of work if you really want to scale this up in a big fashion, but you can make 10 grand a month just from Instagram. So for most of you, you don't actually have to go to Facebook in terms of scaling, but there are other advantages to Facebook ads. For example, it's just a lot less work. It's a lot more efficient. You can get more done in less time on Facebook than with Instagram, because you have to set up these Instagram shoutouts separately, as opposed to just setting up a campaign once and then managing the budget, managing the ads, which just takes a little bit of time. At this point, you just sort of have to figure out, are you making 1 or 2 sales, sort of breaking even? Are you making no sales, or are you making a ton of sales? If you're making a ton of sales, then write that page down. You've found a successful page and a successful product. Like I said, forget about Facebook for now. There are too many variables to get started with Facebook. The interest targeting, the type of ad, the ad copy. There's just so much going on, and you're going to have to spend too much money as a beginner trying to figure out whether a product works or not if you're using Facebook. Because again, you want to single down on that one variable, the product variable, as much as you can. And I think Instagram influencer shoutouts are a far more effective way to do that rather than Facebook ads. Again, a lot of people will jump straight into Facebook ads. People love it. People idealize the scalability of it. And I'm not going to be able to stop those people. If that's you, then I wish you the best of luck. But please don't come asking me about why your Facebook campaign isn't working, when the reality is you just shouldn't be using Facebook ads in the first place at your current stage as a beginner. Wait until you've got a proven product before you go to Facebook. And the big advantage is, at that point, you will have a lookalike audience. So you'll have existing customers. You can export that data, import it to Facebook, and create a lookalike audience. And that lookalike audience, or those lookalike audiences, have been very, very effective in my experience. So that is the easy way to transition into Facebook ads if you've followed my advice and started with Instagram shoutouts. What about testing new products in an existing store? At this point, you've got a bit more flexibility and your job is just a lot easier. You've already got at least one traffic source that's working for you. That might be an Instagram page, or it might be a Facebook targeting option, whether that's a lookalike audience or interest targeting, doesn't really matter. And now what you want to do is you want to test new products only on traffic sources that you know convert, that have converted for you in the past. So the traffic is good, find out whether a product is good, and at this point you can spend a little less money because you already know the traffic source is effective. At this point, I think you can go with Facebook ads. If you've got a Facebook targeting option that has worked for a different product, by all means, test your new products with that. In fact, that's what I do on my existing stores as well. I use my lookalike audiences in most cases, simply because that is the most effective targeting option I have found ever. If I am already established with my store in a niche, then I will always test with a lookalike audience. Not because I'm dogmatic about it, but just because I've tried it, I've tried other ways of doing it, and the lookalike audience consistently comes out at the cheapest method for testing products. If you're more successful with something else, if you're more successful with interest targeting or Instagram shoutouts, then go with what you know best. That's absolutely fine. At this point, you already have an established store, so you've got some niche knowledge, you understand your market, hopefully. You don't need to listen to random people on YouTube anymore at that point. You should know how to reach your customers in the best possible way. How much you spend at this point? Again, your niche knowledge is important, because if you're very, very confident that a product's going to work, I would be willing to spend a little more. I'd say with Instagram influencers, maybe spend $35 or even $40 to try and find out whether a product converts. This is a higher range than before, just because if your best traffic source is a medium-sized page, so maybe 100, 200,000 followers, then by all means spend a little more to test. I think that's fine if you're already established and you know the traffic source converts well with good products. With Facebook ads, I'd recommend around 3 times your gross profit on that specific product. So if you're doing a free plus shipping offer, say $10 is what you charge for shipping. The product costs $2 on AliExpress. Gross profit $8. You'll want to spend $24 or $25 on ads before deciding whether the product works or not. Again, if you're very confident that the product is going to convert and you think it just needs a little more time, then let it run for longer. I found this to be especially effective with Facebook ads as the pixel starts to optimize the delivery. If at this point you're losing money, then just move on. If you're making money, of course, you want to scale. That means increase the budget with Facebook ads or duplicate the campaign with Instagram influencer shoutouts. Keep running on the same page, go to other pages and go to larger pages to scale. If you're breaking even, you'll have to think about whether you can optimize the campaign. This is especially for Facebook ads. Use the breakdown tab to optimize. In many cases, it's not worth your time. I think a lot of you spend too much time trying to optimize when you should instead just be looking for better products. Because if you've got a good product, then you don't need to optimize much. You're already making money before you start optimizing if you get the traffic source and the product right. And instead of spending a lot of time optimizing, I would focus more on testing new products, but that's just me. Closing thoughts. So testing products is absolutely the key to long-term success. Dropshipping products, eventually they all stop working. I've been running ads for one of my products for 6 months now, and it's still consistently bringing in $1,000, $2,000 profit a month, which is great. But even there, I do expect that will at some point die down. So always be looking for new products to sell, always be testing new products, and use your profits from your successful campaigns to fund this testing. This method I have presented to you, it's just the way I do things. It's not, by no means is it a hard rule. It's a recommendation if you've got no idea how to do this. Likely if you're already dropshipping yourself, you've got your own way of doing it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Keep doing things the way you like it if it's working for you. I think my method is pretty efficient. You will miss out on some good products just because you only test on 2 Instagram pages, for example. That is by no means a foolproof method for finding out whether a product will work or not. It's just a very fast and efficient way to test. I'm not too bothered if I miss out on one good product, but speed and testing a lot of new things is more important to me, because I think that's the way I'm going to find the most successful products, if that makes sense. So you might miss out on a few $500 a month products, but because you're testing more, I think you're more likely to find the really big winners, which will make you a lot of money. And keep in mind that with dropshipping, or most online business in fact, or most business in general, the 80-20 rule, it does apply. A small portion of your products are going to bring in a large percentage of your revenue. So the more you test, the more efficiently you test, and the faster you test, the better your chances are of finding those big hitting successful products. But that is about all I have to say on testing products. If you like this video, please do like the video and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you like this type of content, if you find my teaching helpful, if you're working on your own dropshipping stores and you want to learn faster in a more efficient way, then go to the link down in the description to check out Start Dropshipping Stuff, which is my new dropshipping course just launched today. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.